Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Miami Total Football Radio, the show. You guys saw my co-host on today's episode dancing. Bit of candid camera there. That was not planned.
That intro is pretty cool.
Thank you. Obviously, if you've been around here for a while, or if you're new, my name is Franco Panizo, your usual co-host here on Miami Total Football Radio, the show, an Inter-Miami focused video podcast these days. Joining me for the first time in I think a little while actually is Alonso Contreras, who has not been with us for a month. August 14th, his last appearance. So that's exactly just over a month ago. Alonso, welcome back to your house, tu casa, Miami Total Football Radio, the show. Alonso, how are you on this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing good. Pretty cool. Bienvenido. Gracias por la bienvenida. But ready to talk about Inter Miami, because you say, over a month I hasn't been here, but I was in Seattle for the final.
You were.
Then
one of the few traveling media. So
I was the only one. Thank you very much. I was the only one on the mix zone. I felt like it was like an exclusive interview with Velasco, Falcón, Luján, Jordi Alba. It was fun. It was. In the following day, I think 2 more media from Miami came, but it's not the same. You and I that cover MLS Cups, MLS All Stars. We know that game day is part of the coverage, but you actually coverage during training sessions and interviews and mix zones prior to the actual game. But with that being said, thank you. I'm so happy to be back. And then Charlotte, and now they're gonna play Seattle Sounders. That team that I start cover when I initiate this career path.
So that's what makes you perfect for this show, because you were at the final, you saw everything that happened, and now Inter Miami will have a rematch of sorts tomorrow night, Tuesday, at home at Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, against the reigning Leagues Cup champions, the Seattle Sounders. We will talk about that, but we will also talk about other topics like Matteo Silvetti's arrival, the latest Inter Miami edition. We will also talk, of course, about the most recent match, the 3-0 loss to Charlotte FC. So we'll touch on a bunch of different topics. Of course, as you see in the headline, Lionel Messi's penalty kick miss will be part of the talking point. So for everyone tuning in, be it on YouTube or listening to this on SoundCloud, give us a like, a follow, share, a subscribe. Spam the bell button. It's all free for you, and it helps us out tremendously. We keep growing each and every week, and we do it in the best way possible, being as direct and open and honest with you guys as you'll probably find anywhere out there. Alonso, my friend, last time you were on this show, I was not yet a father. I am a father now. I have joined Fatherhood FC on a permanent transfer. So, as you know, I will be sending you WhatsApp messages asking for advice when la caca sale verde, when the poop is green, or the poop is yellow, or the poop is whatever color. But a lot has happened in this past month with Inter Miami. We've talked about it on the show. We will get your takes in general, but let's start getting right into it with the most recent game, a 3-0 loss for Inter Miami on the road against Charlotte FC. Another lopsided loss. This was the first game Inter Miami had played since that final in the Leagues Cup that you covered in person. I was at the hospital that weekend as the birth of my baby girl occurred. But all the same, Inter Miami had the FIFA break. They took a couple of days off. Obviously, some of the players had international duty, including Lionel Messi, who started in the game in Buenos Aires, teary-eyed against Venezuela. He scores a couple of goals. He does not play against Ecuador. Sits that one out.
Bad win for Venezuela out of the World Cup, and they lost against Peru in the Breakfast World Cup.
I was gonna say you have a smile on your face as you're saying that.
But you have to be nuts to compete against Peru, in
in food.
cuisine.
Okay, in football estamos anyway. Yeah, we're not doing too good in soccer. But Alonso, first game back from the international break, and Inter Miami lays an egg, a 3-0 defeat that maybe could have been different had it not been for Lionel Messi failing to convert his penalty kick. And we're going to start right there because that to me was the biggest play of the game. It was a complete momentum changer. Not only did Inter Miami fail to capitalize on a golden opportunity to take the lead against a talented opponent, but the away goal, sorry, not the away goal, the Charlotte FC goal, the opponent's goal comes 2 minutes later, 2 minutes right after Messi's miss. So it's crucial over the course of the 90 minutes. Now, if that makes me a Messi hater because I analyze and criticize him like I do any other player, then so be it. Porque, I mean, acá en el show no vamos a endiosar a nadie. We're not here to treat anyone like they are the second coming, like we are their fans. We cover this objectively. In this game, Messi's miss proved very, very costly. And not only was it costly, it was the manner in which he attempted to take the penalty that also adds insult to injury, because rather than placing it with the power that he has, we know Messi can kick the ball and strike the ball very, very well. He decides to get cute. He decides to try to be gutsy. You can say ballsy if you want, by trying to chip Christian Kalina, arguably the best goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. I know you have your corazoncito, your heart for Pedro Galese, but all the same, one of the best goalkeepers in MLS. We'll just say that so you don't, and I don't argue here on a tangent.
So
What
we
do you
change the
think?
subject.
What did you think of Messi's decision making on that penalty kick?
I mean, that for me, Messi for the cheap. I mean, the panenka. That's what we call actually in soccer. It wasn't a bad choice because when you have Messi, that either he goes left, right, and you have one of the best goalkeepers in the league, you assuming that he study Messi. I never expect Caliña to wait for Messi. Because usually you try to anticipate the player. So I don't know if he study how many times he take a picket like that. I will assume if you in a 1v1 with Messi, you can like wait for him because usually he chip it. But in this situation, I was surprised. But I don't. I mean, you will say in soccer, okay, if you have a PK, just kick it hard to secure the goal. Especially at the moment that happened. But what can you how you say, what can you
Dímelo en español. I'll
encarar,
translate
like
for you.
encarar, like what can you say to Messi? Hey, you should have kicked it like rasante on the ground or hard. I mean, the guy kicked it and his finish was unexpected, and it also was more unexpected the way he react, the goalkeeper. So yeah, I mean, you can say Messi could have tied the game, could have scored an easy goal, but at the end of the day, the goals that we saw for Charlotte, yeah, they're nice goals and everything, whatever, but the defense is una lágrima, I mean,
The
that's
teardrop to
a
translate.
teardrop. Yeah, I mean that the defense, like it shows, like when a team pressure, when a team attack as a block, the defenders are nowhere to be found. Like
Mhm.
and like we were telling you behind the scenes, when you have a defender like Jordi Alba that goes forward and forward and forward, you need a good center back. And I like the way Peluca Falcon looks with his curly hair, especially when he runs. Such a nice person. But as a center back, he's not fast enough to cover Jordi Alba. I mean, Jordi Alba, I know this sounds bad, but he's used to play with pure center backs, strong, fast, tall, Puyol, Sergio Ramos in the national team, Piqué. So with that being said, he has the freely to go up, knowing that he can come back, I mean, in different pace, but knowing that he has a center back that will cover. And in this situation, Falcon wasn't doing that. I see Rodrigo de Paul in the beginning of the season very like like a
The
world
beginning
class
of his
player, you know?
arrival. The beginning of his
Yes, yes,
arrival,
his
not the beginning of
arrival.
the
Yeah,
season.
yeah, his arrival. I'm sorry, but now his position is not to mark. So when he chased a player, and I think that was on the last goal, he chased a player to a certain point. He doesn't follow the player all the way, and that's what the next goal happened. He is standing, like he is walking.
So you're blaming the
And
defense. So you're blaming the defense
yes,
for the
yes,
3-0 defeat.
100%.
Okay. So Messi having a penalty kick that could give Inter
No,
Miami the lead.
yes,
That
but
that
I think no, but I think Inter, but like I said, you cannot recriminar a Messi the way he finished because he
no.
never
But no.
finished like that.
We're not gonna. We're not okay.
No, I'm not
We're
saying.
not.
Oh, I'm not gonna say nothing bad to him. What I'm saying is the way he finished the way he kicked the PK,
He
it
tried
wasn't
the
expected.
Panenka, the
Yeah,
lofted
because
Panenka. Okay.
I mean, what
Alonso.
goalkeeper's gonna wait?
Alonso. Okay. Está bien. You got your point
No,
made with regard to the
just
penalty.
10 seconds, 10 seconds. El Loco Abreu, okay, he used to do panenkas. So if he gonna kick a PK, that is not important. I mean, besides that World Cup, but
El Loco
is
Abreu.
that
Some people might
important?
not know who El Loco Abreu is, so you have to
Okay,
explain who El
Abreu
Loco
was
Abreu
a
is.
Uruguayan forward that he always panenka, and he became more famous than he was.
Not always. Don't say always because it wasn't
Oh, he was
always.
always
He
famous.
did it more common than maybe somebody
No,
else, but
okay,
not
but
always.
yeah,
Not all of his penalty kicks were
okay.
Panenka, Alonso.
8 out of 10 PKs was panenkas. Okay, so and he became more famous when he did a panenka against Ghana to qualify to the semifinals on the World Cup 2010 in South Africa. So a player like that kicks the ball and he chip it, I'd be like, hey, come on, Abreu. People know you. Raul Ruiz take a panenka and they wait for, and the goalkeeper waits for him. And Raul, they know you already, but you don't know Messi's gonna do the panenka.
Okay.
So
Está bien.
telling
Alonso.
him that is like, bro, I don't know what happened.
Alonso. They called El Loco Abreu El Loco for a reason, which means the crazy guy, the crazy man. That he had that nickname for. He had that nickname for a reason, right? Because it is a gutsy, it is a risky penalty kick to kick down the middle. Now, do you see it get converted? Yes, it gets converted plenty of times. But penalty kicks are highly converted. I think the percentages are somewhere between 75 and 80% of all penalties go in. So a penalty kick goes in more often than not. We all understand that, right?
Yeah.
And if and listen, I don't want to take anything away from Kalina because, like you said, he reacted as opposed to predicted, right? Normally, goalkeepers, you can take one of two approaches. You either predict where they're going to go or you react and see if your reflexes are fast enough. Well, Kalina decided to react, not predict, and he reacted superbly. I don't know if he had an idea that Messi would do it. I don't know if he was tipped off by some movement or by some gesture. Maybe he did some good study in the film room with regards to penalty kicks for Messi, because stopping a Messi penalty kick will make the rounds worldwide in terms of the highlight reel or the low light, depending on how you want to look at it. But again, more often than not, penalty kicks go in. If he had made a save, if he had made a diving save on Messi, then, hats off to him. Messi didn't convert. Messi tried to get cute. He's like, okay, I'm gonna bombearlo. I'm gonna loft it across the middle, and I'm gonna look nice, and I'm gonna have. No.
Bro, he
Alonso,
when you kick against the best goalkeepers, including Galese.
Alonso, when you kick penalty kicks, right? You can anybody, a professional player,
no, but I'm
a professional
Messi,
Alonso.
But I'm not Messi.
Alonso, you can place it, right? You can go for placement, you can go for power, or you can try to be cute and do what Messi did. And he was an unnecessary take. If he makes it, yes, he looks like a genius, sure. But if you miss, this is what happens. You risk not only a bad moment for yourself, but for the team. Because he looked foolish in the attempt, and the goalkeeper makes the save, right? Easy save. He didn't have to do a whole lot, Kalina. Kalina just literally stood there, grabbed it palmed it with one hand, and then grabbed it. That's all he had to do.
I mean,
Messi
you
did
can say
not.
foolish.
Messi did not.
But you can
Messi
say
did not
foolish.
test him. Messi did not test him. Messi did not force him to make a fantastic save. Messi se la dio de cucharita. He spoon fed him the ball. Here's the ball. Kick it back. So what? So what? What does that mean? What does that mean that he's Messi?
He can kick the ball however he wants.
But who's saying he can't kick the ball however he wants? It was a bad decision. It was a bad decision.
Yes.
In the context of Inter Miami.
I don't think that's a bad decision because, okay, so for me, technically, I mean, let's put Messi aside. For me, a pique that is
0-0 on the road.
It's a pique that was, hold up. Un penal fallado es un penal mal pateado. You know?
Okay, so a penalty
that is
not
missed,
converted is a poorly taken penalty.
Yes. So regardless of the goalkeeper save or whatever, you know, because bro, think about it. If you ever kick a PK, I mean, in the audience can test it. It takes less than a second from the PK circle to the net. Less than a second. So it's more like a guessing from the goalkeeper and actually the kicker taking a soft PK or a shot that is hard but is close to the goalkeeper's position. Because if you put that stuff, I mean the ball to the close to the post, doesn't matter if you start diving last year, you're not gonna get it.
So when you see a penalty kick, right? A lot of times you see the players go for placement. Normally they go low into the corners. That's normally what you try to do. Sometimes it comes out well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you see players go for sheer power and they go top corner as hard as they can. Sometimes you see it go in and it looks authoritative, it looks powerful. Sometimes because it lacks more placement because you're prioritizing power, it goes over the crossbar. This is neither one of those. This is him trying to be cheeky, him trying to be agarrarlo de sorpresa, trying to surprise him.
Yeah, but
in a 0-0 game, Alonso. In a 0-0 game.
Messi to Panenka? No. You're going to be like, I'm going to go left.
Well, Kalina did it. Kalina did it.
Yeah, but that's one. Okay, it happens. It happens.
Está bien. But a penalty kick is supposed to go in. 75 to 80%. It's supposed to go in.
You're
and
right,
again, Kalina did not make
with 100%.
And Kalina did not have to make a fantastic save that you were like, wow, oh my gosh, he dove up in the air and made a palm save with his right hand. No, it was an easy save. In a 0-0 game on the road against a Charlotte FC team that had not lost, that actually had won 8 in a row heading into that game. For me, Messi misjudged the moment. He maybe overly confident. Was like, okay, I'm gonna chip him,
but that's normal. But that's normal. Overconfidence, that's normal.
That was the moment. Look, there's moments to do things, and this was not that moment. This was not. Inter Miami is in a bad way, Alonso. Inter Miami is coming off the 3-0 defeat to the Seattle Sounders. They haven't been playing well in league play as of late. That was not the moment.
But that's Messi's fault.
I mean, he's the leader of the team. He's the captain, no? He also had He also had a horrible miss in the League's Cup final. So 2 games in a row now that he's had bad misses.
Horrible miss. That was Allende.
And Messi had another one that he shot over the crossbar from
close. That's all. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were there and you already forgot.
Yeah,
you were there and you already forgot.
I was thinking about Allende that he couldn't just put it like easy.
But listen, the point is we can talk about the defense, right? We know that the defense is not the strength of this team. We know that. The strength of this team is supposed to be el 10 and the attack. That's supposed to be the strength. That's where the star power is. That's where the names are. So Messi is supposed to make these. Is he human? He can make mistakes. Yes, but he's supposed to. That's why he gets paid what he gets paid. That's why he is who he is. He is supposed to put these chances away. And he did not. And Inter Miami immediately gives up the goal. And then they never got really back into the game. So he is as responsible as anybody else for this
alternative that he has. Who was the forward? Who was the number 9?
Tadeo Allende was the number 9 in this game.
Yeah. Do you think Tadeo Allende is close to what Suarez can produce?
Of course not. Of course not. Pero Tadeo Allende no es Messi. Messi is expected to make the goals. Allende is a role player. Allende is a role player.
But I think that's when Inter Miami is lacking. You know, like other teams around, they're building the team like in a consistent line between defense, midfielders, and forwards. And you can see that through like Seattle Sounders, for example, right? And Vancouver, they don't have superstars, just Thomas Mueller, but the team is even in all the lines. Inter Miami is not like that. Inter Miami, you have to study because they didn't want their calendar because Rios Novos no pasa nada. Then you have to pick Falcón and no Allen because you have to spend money in other players like Busquets, Jordi Alba, of course Messi, Suarez, and now Rodrigo de Paul. Segovia is not part of the plan. It's just like it happens for because obviously, like we talked before, he's not an Argentinian. That's why he preferred Baltazar. So that's what I'm saying. Like the other pieces are not just a perfect fit.
We can analyze that deeper. Podemos hacer un análisis más profundo. But let's read some of the comments here with regards to the penalty from our very active and lively comment section. Tank721 says 6 cents gut filling. I think he means feeling. Sean Callahan says usually you roll it to a corner. Messi wanted to look cool. Francisco Garcia, do it if you are ahead in the score. Pedri Potter says, according to me, Messi was just trying to be unpredictable. Okay, yeah. Well, let's listen to, we've read some comments. Let's listen to the comments from Javier Mascherano after the game. I asked him directly about Messi's penalty kick miss because, again, to me, it is the biggest moment in the game. You can talk about the hat trick from Charlotte FC's attacker, but this was the moment because it completely would have changed the outlook of the game. Inter Miami's ahead. Charlotte has to open itself up a bit differently. Anyway, let's listen to Mascherano on the penalty kick miss after the match.
A ver, no, creo que si hay algo que no podemos ser injusto, reprochar o agarrarnos del penal. A ver, son situaciones de juego. Claramente si hay alguien que nos ha ayudado a ganar durante toda la temporada ha sido Leo. Bueno, tuvo esa jugada desafortunada, pero creo que más allá de eso, sí, el primer tiempo, sobre todo los primeros 20, 25 minutos, controlamos el partido, tuvimos alguna que otra situación, teníamos la posesión de la pelota, sobre todo el gol de ellos, el primero no hizo daño, pero bueno, después de 5 o 10 minutos que pasamos ese mal momento, volvimos a recuperar el dominio del juego y sobre todo creo que el segundo gol a los 2, 3 minutos, no sé, cuando fue al comienzo del segundo tiempo, fue el que nos terminó de hacer mucho daño. Esa es la realidad. Y bueno, es algo que nosotros claramente tenemos que mejorar, entender que un partido dura 90 minutos y que más allá de que el rival nos puede convertir, hay tiempo suficiente de sobra como para poder empatarlo y darlo vuelta y no volvernos locos. Creo que lo que más me preocupa es eso, ¿no? Que muchas veces terminamos desorganizándonos demasiado temprano y eso lleva a que darle oportunidades al rival. Es algo que soy el responsable, que tengo que claramente trabajar muchísimo más en eso, en entender que un partido dura 90 minutos y que hasta el último minuto, con un gol por debajo, se puede empatar, se puede dar vuelta. Sobre todo en esta liga que vemos que pasa muchas veces.
All right, so I will translate very quickly for those that don't understand Spanish, don't speak Spanish. He goes along a similar line as Alonso in saying that you cannot recriminate, you cannot criticize Messi, or the last person that the team is going to, or the last person that we should criticize is Messi because he's been so important for so many wins this year, which I think is, in my opinion, is a complete cop-out of an answer. Because no one is saying because Messi missed this penalty kick, the whole season has sucked, that he sucked this whole season. No one is saying that. We're analyzing one game and a moment in that game.
Yeah, but
So
but
why
what
so
he,
why
no,
can't
but what he's
so why-
saying, okay, I'm gonna tell you from my perspective. You and I started going to Inter Miami way before Messi arrived, and you and I were witness that only 5 or 6 media outlets were in the stadium, when with zero titles. When Messi arrived, League Cup, Supporter Shield,
okay?
200, 150 media outlets. So what he's saying is we cannot say nothing to Messi. We cannot recriminate. That's a word I was thinking.
But that's
We cannot
ridiculous.
recriminate.
That's ridiculous. That's absurd.
Okay,
That's
I'm
an
gonna tell
absurd.
you play
That's an
soccer in the
absurd
streets.
thing.
Have you ever played soccer in the streets?
Alonso,
Have
por
you ever played
favor,
soccer? No,
yes,
but listen this
But
analogy.
me playing
Have you played
soccer has
in the
nothing to
streets?
do with Messi
Okay.
on the field.
When you have that friend that he's the best in the team and he misses a goal, you're gonna be like, hey, malo. No, you be like, hey, you don't say nothing.
No. Listen,
you
man. No, that's
the same thing. When Messi
that's-
means something,
look,
what can you
listen.
tell to Messi? Hey, Messi.
I know. So
Come on.
Messi can have 10 games bad in a row and it doesn't matter because he's Messi.
I mean, but according to his level, not according to our level, because in our level, he's bad. It's still good.
So everybody else on this team can get criticized and analyzed for poor performances, but Messi cannot. Don't touch Messi because because we can't touch him. We have to protect him at all costs.
No. What
if you're the best? So what if you're the best?
Will never say nothing to you. Maybe we do. The journalists, the media, yes. But
just because you don't just because you don't say it if you're in the team doesn't mean you don't think it or you don't feel it. And to me that's a
good point. That's a good point.
To me, that's a bigger problem, bigger picture for this team and the dynamics behind the scenes, which you can't measure. There's no way to measure this, but this is just my opinion, my sensation, mi sensación, mi suposición, my supposition, is that this team, the way they manage Messi and the way they cater, I would almost say pander to him, it definitely has to create some type of resentment from the people that are not in his circle in the team. It definitely has to create it because Noah Allen indirectly will get criticized for a bad performance, or Ian Frey, or Yanick Bright, or Toto Aviles for his yellow cards and red. No, but Alonso, they're professional players and they can get criticized
but they
for
make
bad
mistakes
moments.
that doesn't help the team.
So why does Messi get the exception? Oh, because if you talk about Messi, the headlines will be this, and this. So you have to protect that image at all costs.
No, look, something that I told you in your face, and I respect it because you are very objective. You know, you talk the truth, which is, I mean, I'm saying I talk the truth, but you very firmly with the objective. But in this situation, like, was Messi guilty because of those 3 goals? No. Even Rodrigo de Paul, which I like him, it was his fault. Falcon's fault. Noah Allen, there's a play that they took him out to dance. Parecía la quinceañera que Vargas took him right and left. And then Rodrigo de Paul didn't help. But it's a defense, man. Every time Miami loses, it's because of defense. Okay, look what's the Sounders. You're going to tell me Paul Rothrock, that barely earns $100K a year, is going to be able to score and play an amazing game against Inter Miami defenders? No.
So if your defense is that bad, and you know your defense is that bad, and it is a weakness in your team, con más razón tienes que meter el penal. With even more reason, you have to score that penalty kick because you know there's going to be mistakes to get back. Okay, so the guy that gets paid the big bucks, the guy that's the image of everything, is the number 10. But no, anyway, we're not going to sit on the penalty kick for an hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes. So we're going to move on.
Unpredictable.
We're going to move on. We're going to listen to some comments here before we analyze the game. Sean Callahan says, Messi is Jordan on the Wizards. He's here for a paycheck and easy living. Jerry Barrio says, this is a dysfunctional team based on friends and attached preferable conditions. As in any good family, the rules under the roof are equal for all. This is not a family. Pedri Potter, Messi has credit in the bank, unlike bums like Allen, Frey, and Bright. They are not carrying this bum-ass team. Tank 721.
Fry is good, bro.
100% Franquito. All right. Well, we'll move on to that game after the penalty kick miss. After the penalty kick miss. Well, Inter Miami defensively shows the weaknesses and the shortcomings that we've seen for a lot of this season. The first goal comes down the left side, Jordi Alba's flank, a low cross to the back post, and it's finished home. I want to try to pronounce this correct. Idan Toklomati, the Israeli attacker for Charlotte FC, who goes on to score a hat trick. The second goal for Charlotte FC comes very quickly after halftime. Wilfried Zaha with an incredible movement with the ball, and then a nice through pass, well-weighted through pass to a streaking Brant Bronico, who cuts back a pass once again to the back post, although this one was on Inter Miami's right flank, going to the left, and Toclamari finishes at the back post. Later in the game, Sergio Busquets, a frantic sliding tackle attempt, trips up Zaha, and Charlotte FC is awarded a penalty kick. Zaha does the classy gesture of giving the ball to Toclamari instead of taking it himself. Toclamari converts it and caps his hat trick performance. Inter Miami loses 3-0. The defense looked vulnerable yet again. Javier Mascherano once again took the approach of the center back carousel approach that we've seen this year, because it's just been a revolving door there. One game you have Peluca Falcon and Gonzalo Lujan. The next game you have Peluca Falcon and Toto Aviles. The next game you have Lujan and Noah Allen. It's just been constant. Mascherano nunca ha encontrado la pareja central. He has never found the preferred starting center back tandem. But he's never found that center back tandem. He just has not found it this year. And that's been an issue for Inter Miami. Because
I thought he found it when it was Noah Allen and Falcon.
He hasn't found it. He keeps rotating. I mean, if you...
He said it. I love Noah Allen.
If I ask you or the comment section, who has been statistically the center back tandem that has started the most games, I don't think anyone could. I don't think anybody would know the pair. I don't think anybody would know off the top of their head, because it hasn't been that clear. It's been constant rotation. One player plays well one game, the next game he doesn't play well, so he's substituted out. I thought it was a surprise to see Tomas Toto Aviles get the start, which he ends up getting 2 yellow cards, by the way, in the second half, leaving Inter Miami to finish the game with 10 men. Another boneheaded ejection for him. He was on a yellow, and then he gets called for a second yellow for a clutch of the jersey at midfield for a ball played over the top. Was not necessary, was not needed. The game was 2-0 at that point. Could have defended it differently, but again, a rash decision for a defender who, look, at this point, you know what he's about. You know what he's about. They've talked this year, and we've talked with him since his arrival about altering his play, and although he's always kind of been reluctant about changing the way he does things, at least in comments that he has made. But it's clear at this point. If Mascherano lo pone de titular, if Mascherano puts him as a starter, or any coach puts him as a starter, you know what to expect. Potential being sent off, boneheaded challenges in bad spots. You know what to expect at this point. You know what type of player Toto Aviles is at this point.
It's disaster. No, it's like playing with 10 men, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. So you know what you're getting from him. So if you start him and then he does something stupid, then that's on you, because you know what kind of player he is.
They need to bring 2 center backs, good center backs. If they want to win games, they need to bring 2 center backs.
Alonso, you in MLS, it's very hard to have a balanced roster when you invest most of your money in the attacking positions or on big names in Messi, Jordi Alba. It's hard to have a balance. So everyone that says we need 2 center backs, Inter Miami needs 2 talented, it's almost impossible to bring 2 talented center backs of a high level when your money is invested. MLS has a salary cap. It's not just like, okay, we can bring in whoever we want, and all of a sudden now you have 2 stalwarts at the back.
Okay, that's Busquets and Suarez most likely are going to leave.
Yes.
Busquets and Suarez. You can sell Falcon, sell Noal, and bring 2 players. And bring a center midfielder, defensive, not like Busquets, sound like a hard worker center defensive midfielder that just get the ball back and play to De Paul, to Messi, or to Telasco. No? Don't kill yourself finding a fancy number 5.
I think what's also hurt this team, in addition to the weakness at the back, with the lack of established center back pairing, is the arrival of Rodrigo de Paul. Because while he gives you the endless motor, while he gives you the engine, and the competitiveness, and la jerarquía and the know-how, Mascherano now has been stuck to try to force him into a lineup and is playing him out wide while he pairs Sergio Busquets in the middle with Yanick Bright, because Yanick Bright has clearly been one of the top defensive-minded players on Inter Miami in terms of his ability to recover the ball. He has his weaknesses with the ball, but without the ball, in terms of ball recovery, he's been very good. So now the pieces just aren't fitting because you don't have enough in the attack to create a ton of chances unless Messi is inspired. Generally speaking, Suarez has had some games where he's created a good bit. But the defense also se ha resentido un poco. The defense also has taken a hit because the midfield is disjointed. It's not bringing the type of protection that Mascherano would like. One of the comments that he said, I didn't get to translate fully, that I thought was interesting was, I have to remind this team, I have to teach this team, work harder at teaching this team that a game is 90 minutes long. It doesn't matter if we're down 1-0, because in this league, you can find a goal and you can find a way to turn it around late on. To me, that clearly is another example of him being defensive-minded coach. Like, he doesn't care if they're down 1-0, the goals will come. The goals will come. And clearly, that's how I interpret his words. But Inter Miami's in a bad way. Since July, Alonso, since mid-July in league play, and yes, they were juggling the Leagues Cup and the run to the final there. Inter Miami has 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. So they're 2-2-3 in their last 7 league games. They are currently, I think, I'm going off the top of my head, I think they're 7th, actually. I think they're 7th in the standings.
Yeah, but they have 3 games.
No, they're 8th. They're 8th. Yes, they have 4 games in hand. If they win all those games, then they'd be top of the table in the Eastern Conference. But games in hand do not necessarily mean points in hand. And the way Inter Miami's playing as of late, I don't think you would bet on them to maximize 12 points out of 12 points. There's a busy stretch coming up here of games where we'll see where Inter Miami falls. I don't think there's any risk of them missing the playoffs, although mathematically there is. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't know if it's
tomorrow is a crucial game, too.
It's not an Eastern Conference opponent, though. It's crucial for the confidence.
3 points.
It's crucial for the confidence, for trying to get back on track. But I don't know. It's not an Eastern Conference opponent, so it's not a direct rival for a playoff spot. So it doesn't matter as much. Yes, it does matter for the confidence and the psyche and the emotions and the momento. But I just don't see it, Alonso. I don't see it in that stretch of 2-2-3, 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. They have scored 10 goals. They have conceded 13 for a -3 goal differential. Inter Miami is not in a good way right now. They head into tomorrow night's match against the Seattle Sounders pasando un mal momento, a rough moment for the team. And there is good news. Matteo Silvetti, the most recent addition, is officially available to play. We might see his debut. I would bet on us seeing his debut. It probably won't be as a starter. He'll probably come off the bench. It is a rematch of the Leagues Cup final from 2.5 weeks ago, or just over 2 weeks ago, which we circled on our calendars as soon as we saw the fight, as soon as we saw the el escupitajo, the spitting.
7 millions on my video.
You're very proud of that.
Yeah, they need to pay my money. Come on. And I'm going to say
Alonso.
The middle channel.
Okay, Shakira. Alonso, I want just a quick yes or no. Just a quick yes or no. Seattle travels to South Florida. It's not a final. It will be in the South Florida humidity, even though the game's at night. But we know about the fight. We know about the whole turmoil, the whole brawl. Will there be, yes or no? Don't give me an extended answer. Yes or no? Will there be carried over tension and ill will from the last game, in your opinion?
No. It will be a tension if Rodrigo de Paul starts.
Tarjeta Maria. I said just yes or no, and you started
Okay, no,
going
no,
long.
but I want to say no from Seattle Sounders and yes from Inter Miami.
So then, yes, there will be tension in the game then.
From Inter Miami. That's
Okay,
all.
but that so it
Sounders
exists.
will be like the player will be like a shut up, man, shut up, just play like that.
So it'll so at least from one part it'll carry over to the game.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I mean, let's not be hypocrites, okay? When Orlando lost against Inter Miami on the semifinals, the League Cup, the other two games that they destroyed Inter Miami didn't matter anymore. So this is the same game. If you beat 10-0 to Seattle Sounders, who cares? They beat your title. So it doesn't matter.
Sure. So I asked you a question because I wanted to hear or I want to share Javier Mascherano's response, which once again, Alonso, you have agreed with him. Javier Mascherano said no tension going into tomorrow.
Sudamericano.
Well, let's listen to Javier
No,
Mascherano.
he's lying.
He's lying. Okay, hold on. Let's listen to Javier
Yeah, of
Mascherano.
course. From his
Let's
side,
listen.
gonna be tension.
Let's listen.
No, creo que ya eso está en el pasado. Los partidos no se repiten, es decir, por más que enfrentes al mismo rival, es otro tipo de partido, por otra competencia y otra circunstancia y otro contexto. Nosotros, lo que sí para nosotros es importante tratar de hacer un buen partido y sobre todo tener un buen resultado, que volvamos a tener una victoria para volver a engancharnos en las posiciones de arriba y sobre todo también para volver a generar la confianza que este equipo ha tenido en la mayor parte de la temporada.
So he says no, that no two games are the same, that it's about getting back on track, regaining confidence, same type of confidence they demonstrated earlier in the season. He says no. I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
I don't believe it either.
This is just my opinion. Because if there's no way they don't go into tomorrow with a little
of
extra
course,
salt and pepper.
Just before the game in the locker room, we'll be like, hey, we need to be this payaso, blah, blah, blah. And then in the conference, if Inter Miami defeats Seattle Sounders, he's gonna be, oh yeah, this is the victory that we needed because they beat us and we need to beat them now. You know, it'd be amazing if we meet in the MLS Cup final. No, I mean, you know what? Like, people needs to be honest. This is a game from Miami side that you wanna win. You wanna talk back to them. You wanna make a 6 hours flight sad because they need to fly 6 hours from Miami to Seattle, Washington. So come on, you're gonna talk. You're gonna start everything. It's common sense.
Sean Callahan says someone in Miami is going to get a welcome to the MLS tattoo.
Yes, because now you with your people. Yes.
No, he's saying the opposite.
Someone from Miami is gonna be
but I'll say this.
Is not very good looking.
I will say this. I don't believe it because as soon as the first perceived hard tackle takes place, all the memories of 2 weeks ago, which is very fresh still, it's gonna come right back to mind. And I don't see there not being any tension. I was the one that asked the question.
You don't think that the first hit moment between, for example, right, Rodrigo de Paul and Roldan. Rodrigo's gonna tell Roldan, "Hey, ¿quién te conoce? Who knows you? I want to work out. What have you beat? What have you won? Nothing. It's like that. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's how he starts all the fight. That's why, and in the fight, I don't agree with Obe Vargas' celebration. But hey, if you mock the team the rivals all the time, let that kid enjoy his time too. That's all.
Well, and one thing,
and Crawford should have fought Busquets, not Canelo.
Well, one of the things that really, really hurts Inter Miami's chances to pull this one off is the healthy bodies available. Inter Miami will be missing 7 players tomorrow night. We will go over them, but I want to share Javier Mascherano's comments. I want to share Javier Mascherano's comments from earlier today, and I'm going to include our colleague in Miami Total Football, me salió radio,
Island
co-host,
Jose, okay.
panelist, Jose Armando, Island Jose's question, because in the question, Javier Mascherano makes a very interesting remark when he says that the availability of players is a drama, is a whole drama right now. So let's listen to Mascherano. We'll pick up from there after.
Quiero hacerte un 2 en 1.
Sí.
A ver si nos puedes actualizar un poco sobre las lesiones.
Bueno, es un drama.
Sí, y en esa misma línea, ¿qué tan sostenible es esto de ir a los partidos sin grandes opciones? ¿Qué han evaluado? O sea, traer jugadores del segundo equipo, buscar en la agencia libre.
No, creo que, a ver, claramente la plantilla es la que es. Lamentablemente hoy nos hemos encontrado en un momento que ya lo hemos vivido en otras etapas de la temporada, donde entre sanciones y lesiones se nos han acumulado 5 o 6 bajas. Es mucho para el momento de la temporada en la que estamos, es mucho para la cantidad de partidos que tenemos que jugar en tan corto tiempo, pero es lo que hay y bueno, yo acá no estoy para excusarme. Trabajamos con lo que hay, tratamos de buscar algunas alternativas en el segundo equipo. También es una responsabilidad mía de no quemar etapas. Yo no puedo por tratar de buscar soluciones, ir quemando etapas a jugadores que todavía quizás no están preparados para el primer equipo.
So he says it's a drama. He talks about not having 5 to 6 players, which at this point in the year, obviously is not a positive. It's not a good thing. It's not a good development for the team. Alonso, I'm going to run through the list of the players that are out tomorrow.
How we mean?
You saw my tweet? Is that what you were looking at?
I mean,
No, because they're missing
I talked
one.
to the big boss. No, I know, but I talked to the big bosses. MLS. Here,
no, but MLS is missing somebody on the list. So suspended. Toto Aviles for the red card that he just received against Charlotte.
Yeah, he's missing that one. Yeah, they're missing that one.
Exactly. And Luis Suarez, who is going to be on the second of his 3-game suspension from MLS play. Punishment he was given for his actions post-game against the Seattle Sounders in the Leagues Cup final. The 5 injured players, Fafa Pico, David Ruiz, who were injured on international duty, Baltasar Rodriguez, who, from what Mascherano told us last week, suffered an injury right before the final at the Leagues Cup, which is why he didn't start. So Baltasar Rodriguez picked up his latest injury in a season full of them at Inter Miami. Allen Obando remains out. And who am I missing? Hold on, wait, I'm missing somebody.
Oh, Telasco.
And Telasco Segovia, who is the most recent, because in a different soundbite, Mascherano goes, it could be even worse, the injury issue. And then I jokingly told him, and I didn't clip this, but I jokingly told him, I was like, Javier, we're going to see who it is. Just tell us. And he goes, bueno, haz tu trabajo. He was like, do your job, figure it out. So we figured out it was Telasco Segovia, who was an absentee from today's training. So add him to the list of players that will not be available. That leaves Inter Miami very, very thin going into this game against the Seattle Sounders, which if they're anywhere near as intense as they were in the Leagues Cup final, you're going to need players to come off the bench and maybe give you a boost later in the second half. Inter Miami had 4 second-team players, 4 players from Inter Miami 2 in training today. Daniel Pinter, who is an attacker for the second team, made his debut against Charlotte. I think this is a real stat. He entered the game, but he didn't touch the ball once in his debut. So obviously there are players that are going to have to be counted on or might have to be counted on that aren't ready to be counted on, but that's the dire situation Inter Miami is in futbolísticamente from a soccer standpoint.
Well,
starting lineup, Alonso. Starting lineup. Give me your starting lineup. I mean, I think it's pretty clear, and I tweeted this today.
Both teams or just one?
No. Inter Miami. The Inter Miami show. Oh. I mean, we more or less know what's the
before that, Pedro de la Vega is gonna be probably out.
So that helps. That helps Inter Miami.
But I mean, it's gonna be pretty much the same team. I don't probably.
It's going to be pretty straightforward. No hay mucho espacio para inventar. There's not a whole lot of room
Ian Fry,
for Mascherano
Falcón,
to
no
change
Allen,
things.
Jordi Alba, Busquets.
No, hold on, Alonso, because I already did this exercise today with the colleagues at training. So I'm going to do it with you. All right, we're going to start in goal.
Study.
Oscar Ustari. Okay, right back. It's either Chelo Weigand or Ian Frey.
I will put Ian Fry.
Okay.
Because Southampton have, I'm not going to say talented wingers, but fast wingers.
I'm going to say it will be Chelo Weigand because we saw Ian Frey against the Sounders in the final. Didn't necessarily have a great game. He also didn't look great against Charlotte. So I think Chelo's going to get the start. But either way, that's pretty much, one of the two positions that, we'll get to it. Maybe one of three positions that has question marks. Or maybe four. Actually, never mind. The center back tandem. Luca Falcón, obviously a starter.
Dos puertas abiertas.
Yeah. So then, so for you, if it's Falcón and Allen, which I don't agree with, who's your left back?
Alba.
So then, who's your left midfielder? Telasco Segovia is out injured.
Yeah, Fafa too, huh? Baltasar too. Yeah, so probably Jordi Alba is gonna be the winger.
There you go. So now we gotta go back. Now we gotta retract. No, now we gotta.
So Ustari, Fry, Falcón, Luján, Allen, Busquets, Alba, Allende. No, Rodrigo de Paul.
Wait. Now you're all over the place. Stay in your lines. Ustari, Frey or Weigand at right back. Your only center back tandem that's available. Your only center back tandem that's available, pretty much, unless you want to start Ian Fry at center back, is Falcón and Luján. Left back is going to be Noah Allen, in my opinion. Jordi Alba pushes up into the left wing because there's nobody else. The rest of your midfield are going now towards the right. Busquets and Bright in the middle. Rodrigo de Paul on the right. Up top, Messi with Allende. I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty obvious.
But hold on. I don't know why Mascherano always play like that on the back. He
loves the 4-4-2. He loves the 4-4-2.
But put Alba as a winger.
Francisco García says, sanciones, lesiones y jugadores que han vendido y cedido. Jerry Barrios, we have no bench, but front office unloaded a bunch of players and added Rodrigo de Paul, not needed. Silvetti, not ready. Alonso, knowing what we know about Inter Miami, they will be at home. They will have the La Familia behind them, pushing them on. Messi will be Messi will be wanting to correct his mistake from the final, missing a shot from in close. He'll want to make amends for the penalty kick that he just missed over the weekend. He'll be inspired. He'll be hungry. Does Inter Miami pull it off, Alonso, or do they lose yet again? Or maybe a draw?
Mira, I'm going to tell you something, okay? Because I covered Sounder for many years, and, they have...
Pero dame la respuesta rápida. Give me the quick response.
Listen, bro, people need to understand. Listen. Miami needs to play against Seattle Sounders the same intensity from the beginning to the end. Because if Miami is winning 2-0, they're going to tie 2-2. So my prediction will be, just because I want to go with a home, 3-2 Miami. But I won't be surprised if they tie 2-2, even they're losing 2-0. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if they're winning, like I tell you, 2-0 and Sounders tie 2-2, or they even come back. They need to play intensity. This is and this is what you need to explain the audience too. Seattle Sounders have around 10 players that either coming from the academy, the second team, or the colleges around Seattle, like University of Washington, Seattle University. So when they play, they don't play just because I'm playing professional. They play for the crest. Because they go home, their family, their friends are from the same city, So that's why I make Seattle Sounders a team that's hard to defeat. It's because they care about the team.
Abhishek Jose, which I think is the first time he's commenting. I think it's the first
It's
time
so
Abhishek
funny, bro.
Jose
I
comments
know.
says Seattle's going to whoop our ass again. I can't anymore with a crying emoji, but it's like a not a normal crying emoji. It's like a purple faced monster crying emoji. Alonso, if you think Inter Miami has to match the intensity from the beginning to the
Yes,
end,
yes, yes.
I think that's impossible to
You saw
ask
Sanders
of
on the
a
final.
team. I think that is impossible to ask of a team that is older, that doesn't have the same wheels, doesn't have the same legs, doesn't have the same energy. For me, Inter Miami has to take the lead early,
Yes.
force Seattle to have to play and come out more, come out of the defensive counterattacking strategy that is Brian Schmetzer's forte, his bread and butter.
Mhm.
And if you don't do that, then I don't see you winning this game. And I
Seattle
will
is
add
a team
this.
that
I will add this, Alonso. Messi has to have a big game because, again, Tadeo Allende is not in a good run of form. You don't have Luis Suarez. Jordi Alba will play out of position in the left midfield. Rodrigo de Paul is not a right winger. He's not a right outside midfielder. Messi, for better or worse, for fair or unfair, has to have a big game if you have any chance of winning. Now, if he has a big game, that doesn't guarantee you win. He could have a goal and assist. You could still lose 3-2 because the defense is just that poor. But he has to have a big game to have any chance. I don't see a scenario. No veo un escenario donde Inter Miami gana si Messi tiene mal partido. I don't see a game where Inter Miami wins if Messi has a bad game. And
but
that's just the reality of this team.
Since Mascherano watched your show, because we know, because I always say Franco, but I saw this. Seattle Thunders likes to pressure. They have good. Listen to this. They have good defenders, but they don't know how to play defensively. So if you they're gonna attack. So you need to attack, because if you let him or counter attack, if you trying to play pretty from the back, it's gonna be the same game that at the League Cup final. They're gonna pressure you. So you need to attack them because they don't know how to play defensively. At some point, they can make a line of six, but it's not because they want to. It's because they're not used to it to play defensively. So they get so much confused. They make PKs, fouls. So you need to attack Seattle Sounders. If you let them control the ball, they will destroy you because they have fast players, and those players they don't get tired. We saw in the final. I mean, I know that they play run like crazy. So I hope Mascherano watched a lot of videos from Seattle Sounders and kind of understood how to play against them.
Mike V says, I heard Robbie Robinson is available to pick up from Publix. That's a shot at the former Inter Miami player who is now retired. Dan Plays FIFA says, I really want tickets to go to Inter Miami versus DC United. Can you please make it happen for me? I've been watching the past 3 pods. There's been people watching a lot longer than 3 pods, but we'll see what we can do, Dan. See what we can do. That game is this weekend. Tank721 says, we're going on a losing streak. It is what it is. One more comment that we will share here that I thought was funny. Mike V says, I heard someone say that Alonso sounds like an owl. El Búho Alonso. Ya tenemos en la chapa. We have the nickname. El Búho. See, things happen organically on Miami Total Football Radio. Ahora it is El Búho. El Búho. El Búho Dormilón, because you were falling asleep when we did the sleepy owl.
I have to wake up at 5 a.m.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But I like that. I like that for you. I think it's gonna stick. We've been waiting for a nickname for you. I think Mike B just
maybe the same, because there is a cartoon with an owl. Kind of like I was thinking about it. Like, yeah, maybe I sound that in English.
Tank721 says owl dormilón y sabio. All right.
Thank
Alonso,
you.
does Inter Miami win? Yes or no?
I said 3-2.
3-2. Okay. I say they draw.
And I'm being nice, huh? Because
they tie.
I want
they
to
tie.
win.
I think they tie. 2-2. I think they tie 2-2. I think they tie. All right. One player that might be available, that will be available, and again, I would bet on him coming off the bench, is Matteo Silvetti. Matteo Silvetti he did an interview with us today. Now, one of the bigger talking points from the interview with him was that he said and acknowledges that he had an injury 3 to 4 months ago that he's been working his way back from. So yet another player, another addition, another reinforcement that has an injury concern to him. Baltasar Rodriguez and Alan Abando have been on the trainer's table for much of this year. You cannot, well, you hope you won't have that with Silvetti this season, but alas, the questions will be asked given the recent additions and how they fared for Inter Miami, as well as his own recent injury. Now, let's listen to him talk about his style of play. He's clearly going to be an outside player, fighting with Segovia, Baltasar, Tadeo Allende for those starting outside midfield positions. For 19, he's very well spoken. Very well spoken. I think Javier Mascherano said when we asked about him a few weeks ago, tiene la cabeza bien amueblada, which means well furnished. He's got a very well furnished head, which just means he's got a good head on his shoulders. But this is Silvetti's comments on his style of play.
Bueno, sí, la verdad que me ha tocado convertir, por suerte, lindos goles. Creo que bueno, nada, me siento un poco más cómodo por afuera. Pero bueno, como vos decís, acá vengo a aportar a donde necesiten, donde toque, tengo que jugar. Voy a dar el 100 y bueno, después veremos si es por izquierda o por derecha. Me voy a acomodar.
So he says he can play from left or right. He'll accommodate to whatever is needed. He didn't say this, but he has previous experience with Mascherano at Argentina's under-20 team. Well, he did say that, but not in that soundbite.
Goals. What about goals? He said
he has scored some nice goals in his career.
5 goals.
He's 19. He's 19. Pretty well spoken for 19. Let's see how he does on the field. I have concerns. Not because I've seen him play and I know I can give you a full analysis of who he is as a player. I just have concerns because of when hold on. No, wait, aguanta. I have concerns because of when he's arriving and when he's integrating to the team. Because there's literally 1 month left of the regular season before the playoffs begin. He's just starting to train with the team. He's going to start getting his minutes with the team. He has to adapt to a new lifestyle off the field. He's got to sort his life out. That's always a big thing that doesn't get talked about enough. But if you cover a team up close, you know that un jugador tranquilo es un jugador que se puede enfocar. A player that is calm and settled off the field can focus on the field. All those things go against him here, in addition to his recent injury. Clearly, Inter Miami has a need for a player like him that can bring something extra to the outside spots, but he doesn't have a whole lot of time to get his feet under him. Not much of a preseason, not much time for him to really work on that aspect of things. So it's going to be trial by fire. Sometimes that is such a big challenge for incoming players from abroad. We'll see how he does. But the chips are stacked against him, Alonso.
Yeah, but something that I don't understand is like they asked Mascherano. Some players get coached by Mascherano on the national team, but he didn't do good in the national team either. So I don't know that much faith on the player,
La Voz Neilim dice, Allende is no good, no tiene gol, corre mucho, pero se hace un nudo cuando tiene que tirar a puerta. Translates that to he's not good. He doesn't have goals in his game. He runs a lot, but he becomes a bow or he gets twisted up or tangled when he has to shoot on goal. We've talked about the game. We've talked about the substitutions. Before we close out this show, we're going to change gears and talk about one player in specific. He is a fan favorite for a lot of the maybe American audience that are Inter Miami fans, or maybe the longtime Inter Miami fans, and that is Yanick Bright, who, Alonso, is on $82,000 in change in terms of his salary for this year. Now, obviously, that's part of his rookie contract that he signed when he was drafted by Inter Miami over a year ago. Other players have.
From where?
Where was he drafted from? I don't have that off the top of my head. I don't have that off the top of my head.
82,000.
He's got 82,000. Let's see. Yeah, it's somewhere up in Boston, I think, because he talked about how over the international break he went up to New Hampshire Wildcats is where he played, or who he played for. So he said he had gone up to the Boston area to go spend time with his girlfriend during part of the FIFA break when they had time off. Alonso, we know about his weaknesses and shortcomings with the ball, but again, off the ball, in terms of ball recovery, he's been one of Inter Miami's better players, if not the best player in that regard. Not saying the best player overall, but the best player in that regard. Clearly, he has more value. He's worth more than $82,000 a year in Major League Soccer. We have asked him in the past about contract negotiations. The question came up again last Friday before the team headed off to Charlotte. This is what he had to say. I want you guys to hear the full exchange when I asked him about the contract. Talked about the contract waiting until the end of the year. So you're expecting an extension, a new deal.
I think I'll leave that to my agent.
What the agent tells you.
The agent tells me, but I think it's between me and my agent. You know, we're still waiting, and like I said, I'm not concerned about that right now. I just want to win the MLS, and yeah, I mean, it's God's plan. You know, if he comes, he comes. So we'll see. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Alonso, he says if it comes, it comes. He also says we're still waiting. A lot of players, I shouldn't share this. No, I'm not going to share this because it's not, and I'm super transparent and I'm super forward and I don't like to hold things back from the audience, but I also don't want to give a journalistic, I don't want to show my hand journalistically. No, I don't want to show a journalistic tip that I don't want to reveal.
Yeah, because
it's clear if you interpret. But anyway, Alonso, Yanick Bright says he's still waiting. So that sounds to me like Inter Miami has not offered anything of substance or has not tabled a real deal. What do you make of the Yanick Bright situation? Look, Inter Miami is under no obligation to re-sign him or sign him to a new deal, but they have signed other players to new deals like Jordi Alba, like Oscar Ustari. So, your thoughts?
I mean, I think Inter Miami, first of all, goes differently every other club. Usually the clubs wait until December to renew contract or to release a player. So, with that being said, in Inter Miami, the way they're doing things with Ustari or Jordi Alba, especially a kid that you can double his salary and still making average money from a regular civilian in Miami, you know, it should be already to talk to him. You know, hey, we want to double the salary. I mean, you have been a great asset in the team because he has been a good player. But no, the dude is pretty much saying, I want to leave. I'm just waiting on my agent to tell me what club.
I think he just wants to get paid, man. Because $80,000, especially if you're a professional footballer, professional soccer player in South Florida,
doing delivery, I make more money.
Maybe if you're a really good Uber driver, you could make, maybe make a little bit more. But all the same, listen,
it doesn't, bro. Like take that.
Just rent alone has to be taxes. Rent here in South Florida is not cheap. And look, and he's a professional athlete, so they, especially soccer players, want to live a certain lifestyle and have nice commodities, nice
on nutrition or other things,
No, but you get fed at the facility. But all the same, all those things factor in.
Probably he gets bonuses.
Sure,
if you play that many games, you get it like this.
But we know that football players, professional soccer players, they like to wear
Messi
the designer brand.
1 hour.
They like to wear the designer brand. They like to have the designer colognes, the sneakers, the look, the whole thing.
They're not cheap. They're over 200.
So, I mean, Yanick Bright, I'm sure, especially when he's sitting in the locker room, and this is more on a personal level, and again, not inside information, just my supposition, just thinking about dynamics in a locker room when he sees
just the watch, bro.
spraying, when you see what other people are spraying, what they're wearing, when you see what Gonzalo Lujan is getting, I imagine as a person and as a player,
just the bag that the LV bag that DePaul carries around. Sounds like
I mean, I don't blame him. Listen, there's two sides to this, right? Inter Miami is under no obligation to re-sign him to a new deal. Right? He signed a contract. There's a salary cap in MLS. If they strategically want to keep him at a low figure so they have space for other positions so they can strengthen, then that's fine. That's fair. That's their MO. But you also risk frustrating a player and leaving someone feeling hard done by when you don't give them a deal that they think they're worth. I don't know what the future for Yanick Bright holds. In a different circumstance, maybe he would have gotten that contract by now. Like we saw Kamal Miller at some point, Bryce Duke, if I'm not mistaken, Robert Taylor. But normally when an MLS player or a product, whenever there's a product from within the American system that is signed for Inter Miami or re-signed a new deal, normally they've been traded not too long after. I don't think that'll be the case for Yanick Bright. I think there's value to him for Inter Miami. I think they see the value that he brings, especially on that cheap number. But I could also see his side and being not happy with that number. Like, he's outplayed that contract. And whether you want to reward him or not, whether you want to make your player happy, that's up to the leadership at Inter Miami. I think he's worth it. Do they see it? Do they see him being worth it at this point to keep him a little bit happier, to keep him a little bit more relaxed? I mean, we'll see. We'll see what the leadership at Inter Miami does. Again, we don't really even know. Here's middle of September. We don't know officially who the sporting director is because it's never announced this year. So there's that. Take that for what it's worth. All right. We will leave it there, Alonso. We've had a good show. We went a little bit over the 1 hour and 10-minute mark, but not by much, but all the same, have to be just. Yellow card for myself, yellow card for yours truly. Anything you want to add before we go?
I mean, stay tuned, follow your outlet because it's bringing great information and opinion for those that want to talk about Inter Miami, those want to follow, those that goes to the stadium and they don't know what happened after you guys leave or before, because we're always there prior, after, and after 2 hours of the game finished. But it's gonna be a great game, and all the points that you talk about it is very important in order for Inter Miami to, come back, because they're, like you said, out of the 7 games, they're only 1-2. So that's, for a player that getting $50 million, that's a poor stats.
Ahí sí lo criticas. Ahí sí. Yeah, okay. Tom says Bright is severely underpaid by Miami. Sean Callahan says it would be Miami's best choice to sign him because Bright will end up in Europe, and you want that fee. Tank721 says Bright deserves at least $300,000. What else? Let's see what else we've got. We've got a lot of comments. Tom says give Bright Kremaski's $400,000 contract.
What?
Tank721 says great to see y'all back. El Búho and myself equals the dynamic duo. Although I think that's not the male emoji, my friend. That's not the male tuxedo emoji. So please correct that, because that's not the male tuxedo. That's not me. Anyway, all right. We will leave it there for all of you. Thank you guys for tuning in, for being the rambunctious bunch that you are, for creating Alonso's nickname, El Búho. Shout out to Mike V for that one. I like that. It's going to stick. And we will be back, I would hope, before the end of the week, before the next game against DC United. Have an episode sandwiched in between these two matches. But with my co-host schedules, it's sometimes very difficult. But I will do my best to make it happen. Maybe we'll have to go with a special guest co-host, a different person, an invitee. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Alonso, are you coming for the game tomorrow?
I was supposed to come today, but I have something to do here. I'm going tomorrow.
Okay, so we will see you in South Florida tomorrow as you watch on.
I've been on the field level.
Yeah, you did that as well for the semifinal against Orlando City, and you weren't too happy about that game, huh? Okay, bueno, all right, we will leave it
Así lo
there.
mato.
We will leave it there for Alonso El Búho Contreras. I am Franco Panizo. You have been listening or watching Miami Total Football Radio. We will talk to you guys again very, very soon.